And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Seems like I'm talking about a lot of ants games these days, and that's great because I love the theme of ants. This one here is called Picnic Blitz. It's in Asmodee's new small line of boxes. Actually, they're from MJ Games, but Asmodee is distributing them. They're small and compact, sometimes good, sometimes not. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is good. It's basically a variant-ish game of Can't Stop. Can't Stop is a classic game designed by Sid Saxon. This has a very similar feel to it, with some differences, mostly in the fact that there's interaction with the other players, something I enjoy. Pretty quick, pretty fun, pretty small, pretty compact, pretty, let's look at it. Each player controls 6 ants that they are trying to use to go around and capture different food on the board. At the beginning of a player's turn, they roll 6 dice. They are allowed re-rolls for each ant that they have on the board. So you could re-roll all 6 dice if you had all 6 ants on the board. At the beginning of the game, obviously, you have no such luxury. Then, after you're done re-rolling, you pick one of the numbers of dice that you've rolled. For example, here I rolled 4 6s. So I move my ant on the 6th path 4 spaces. If you don't have an ant in the path, you just start one on that path. You can only have 1 ant on each path. The first ant to reach the food is going to land and stay on that food, and each food is worth a certain amount of points, and as soon as you control a certain amount of points, you win the game. For example, in a 2-player game, you need to get 9 points. First person to control 9 points worth of food is the winner, while in a 3-player game, you only need 7 points. Etc. Now, that's not the only part of the game. Obviously, the more ants you get out on the board, the more re-rolls you'll get. Some tracks are shorter than the other tracks. But if an ant ever lands on top of another ant, then that ant is pinned. That ant can't move. So you might strategically move your ant to land on top of someone else's. They can't use that ant for a re-roll, and they can't move that ant any farther either. But the game also includes attacks. If you ever roll a straight, 1, 2, 3, 4... or 2, 3, 4, 5, or etc., then you are allowed to move someone else's ant backwards 1 space. If you roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 5 straight, you can move someone back 2 spaces, and if you roll a 4 straight, you can move someone back 4 spaces. Or, let's say, for example, I'm red and I just attacked yellow, and I rolled a super straight, a 1 through 6. I could say, okay, I'm going to move this guy back 1, I'm going to move him back 2, and I'm going to move this guy back 1. That's a total of 4 attacks. You can also forego your whole turn. Let's say you don't want to do anything on your turn, and then you can take a queen token, and later on you can use a queen token to give you an extra free attack against an ant. You can use it to move 2 ants on a track on your turn instead of 1, or you can use it for a free re-roll. And so you just keep going until finally somebody gets a certain amount of points and they win the game. I didn't mention that if you do roll a straight and attack another ant, you can still use the numbers on those dice to move one of your ants forward on a track. So there's a lot of luck involved in the game, but you can use the attacks to move you back. By the way, I should mention that I'm explaining the advanced rules. They're not that difficult, so I don't know why anyone would play just the simple regular rules. The advanced rules don't have attacking in them and the queen tokens, but to me that's an integral part of the game. I'm kind of a sucker for ant themes. I like having ants in games, and I like rolling dice, and for sometimes games like Can't Stop leave me cold. I mean, there's obviously the fun of rolling dice and saying, okay, this time I am going to go all the way. But in this game, there's more interaction. Someone's winning, well, I can attack them and pull them back. I want to roll straights, but at the same time I want to roll as many of the same number as I can. Get as many ants on the board as I can for more re-rolls. When am I going to give up a turn? Because you hate giving up a turn to get that queen token, but that queen token can come in really handy later on at a critical juncture in the game. So it worked out well. It plays in about 30 minutes or maybe a little bit less than that. You have a lot of fun, and it comes in a small package which you can fit in your pocket. Very simple, very easy game. I recommend it.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.